Welcome back to SR76. We have her in the garage again, as you'll see in the video coming up. If you remember some time ago, I replaced the speedometer cable. That didn't fix the problem. The speedometer is still not registering, and so we pulled it off again. Put the drill on the end of the speedometer cable that came out of the transmission, spun it. It registered on the speedometer, so I know the speedometer works. I know the cable's good. So what we're going to do now is pull the end off the transmission again, and pull out the gear and take a look at the gear. And I'll show you that video coming up. But I think that's probably where our problem is. So stay tuned. More coming up. Got SR76 back in the garage again. Pulled off the speedometer cable. Got the pulled out the gear. Got to replace the gear. 22 tooth. They're not very expensive, and the teeth look okay. Maybe a little bit of wear in the teeth, but mainly they have the hole where the end of the cable goes in. The square end of the cable goes in. Looked a little worn to me, so she's going to get what she needs to replace that, and then I'm pulling the power steering rod off of there and replace that. Got everything here. Just got to have the time. I'm going to try to get done in the next couple days. So wish me luck. All right, so if you remember, some time ago on SR76, we replaced the speedometer cable, and we still weren't getting any response from the at the speedometer. So we disconnected. I'm gonna bobble you for a minute, but there we go. We disconnected the speedometer, hooked a drill up to it, and we're able to spin and have the speedometer work. So we know the speedometer is good. We know the cable's good. So what I need to do now is I need to go ahead and remove. Oh, yeah, let me get focus here for you. Hang on. We need to go ahead and remove this nut right here. If I can find it, this nut right here, and pull out the gear. I'm assuming the gear is bad, but you can't tell. There's no real specs to tell you exactly what. A loose thing down here. I'll figure that out. Anyway, sorry, squirrel. There's really no tell you how many teeth the gear have. You just have to pull it out and check. And I've looked everywhere, and some are different. Some say it should be this, but there's only one way to know, and that's to actually pull it off. So I've already loosened this a little bit, but we're going to pull the cable off. And then we're going to loosen that nut. And you won't have to watch that happen, but I'll show it to you when I actually pull the gear out. So we'll come back in a sec. All right, so if you notice, all this was, and I'm not sure that's how it's supposed to be, but all this was on the bolt, let me get you stable here, was just this tab. And the tab slid over, and I'm going to pull that all the way off and take a look at it, but the tab slid over, there we go, and this just pulls out. Falls out. You don't want that. We do want that gear right there. And so that just comes out straight up. We'll take a look at that. I'm going to pull it out here and let you look at it here real quick in the light. Screw the tab, the bolt and the tab on. Or here, let's edit this. We're going to edit this. All right, so this is the gear. It's got some worn spots, and you can see it's worn. It's as old as the car, I imagine. No one's replaced it. It goes in like this. That gets inserted into the car. Sometimes that's the part that actually wears out. So what you're looking at here is, this is where the square goes in, where the end of the speedometer cable goes in, you know that's square. That looks kind of rounded as well, so it may more be that than it is the actual teeth. But it doesn't matter because we're going to replace the whole thing, and that's it. Now, as far as color, I can't tell the color. Maybe you can tell the color. Might be green. Hard to tell. But we'll figure it out, get one ordered, and get it replaced. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I've got the unit out, and I've got a magnifying glass on it. This is the unit where it's supposed to, the housing, right? And again, this will go in like this. And hopefully this isn't too foggy, but I'm doing it through a magnifying glass, so I couldn't zoom in good enough to get a look at it. But that's the housing. Power speedometer screws onto here and inserts the square part of the cable into there, which goes into here. And you see that's a little worn, a little rounded out, so I think that's probably the problem more than it is just the teeth. The teeth don't look that horrible, but we got to do a count on the teeth. Can't rely just on the color. And so what I did is, see if I can show it to you. Take it. I got it under there because it's got a better. There, you can see the little black mark. I marked that one, so now I'm just going to count, clockwise, and see how many teeth there are. All right, so actually, if you look right there, you can see the teeth do have some wear, but there's 22. 22 teeth on the gear. Now, I mentioned earlier that there was a color, and in some of the reference books it says, well, it's got to be a blue one, but there are different colors. This one seems to be a gray. In fact, if I do that, you can see the teeth look a little more worn. But the real problem is going to be that end right there, which you saw in the magnifying glass. It was $23, Eckler's. Oh, by the way, Top Flight, where a lot of people get their Corvette parts. I don't shop there anymore. I know I might have mentioned this before, but I tried to order one of these, and they go, well, I'm sorry, that's just an add-on. You have to buy something bigger. I get that shipping's expensive. I'm willing to pay the shipping to get the part I need. I don't need to buy something extra so they feel good about the shipping. But anyway, so I don't shop there. I had forgotten about that when I pulled them up. But yeah, that's Top Flight Corvette parts, and they sell other parts too besides Corvettes. But anyway, there you go. That's it. That's the killer. I'm sure after I replace that, we'll have a working speedometer. Yeah, I hope. All right. Thanks for watching.